The following video and continued growth of this channel are made possible by your support over on patreon.com/616entertainment. Sign up today at any level you choose and help bring these brand new projects to life. Or if you're looking for a brand new t-shirt, maybe stop by prowrestlingtees.com/616entertainment. I got you covered. WWE aren't just a pro wrestling powerhouse. They've not only been the undisputed industry leader for 25 years now, but they're a merchandising titan as well. T-shirts and action figures are one thing, but on this show, I focus on the video games. Their first video games ever, WWF Superstars in arcades and WWF WrestleMania at home on the NES, both released in 1989. The early 3D titles like Warzone and Attitude left plenty to be desired. But the next evolution, your WrestleMania 2000s, your No Mercies, and your SmackDowns, they ushered in a brand new era. From 2000 all the way to 2011, every single year like clockwork, a new entry in the SmackDown series would hit store shelves. But we're not going to fly past all of that. No. In fact, we're going to zoom in on a very specific year. WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 came flying off the top rope and reviewed pretty well, as expected by this point. But that wasn't the only game Vince McMahon's Squared Circle Corporation slammed into the homes of fans inside of that window on the calendar. Just a few months later, in March of 2009, for the first time ever, WWE focused a brand new video game on their storied past with Legends of WrestleMania. With a roster comprised exclusively of stars from decades past, going as far as to adorn the game with the classic block logo, this brand new title looked to land itself firmly in the Digital Hall of Fame. Today we'll look back on this one-off Legends entry and either place it amongst the brightest stars of its time, or toss it in the dumpster like Cactus Jack on a Sunday night. Oh, how you doing, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian. Welcome to Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling game retrospective series. Now, this is episode 7 of season 3. Not that that matters, but, maybe if you're new around here after this one, you want to go back and watch some of the old episodes. That's up to you. And if you really like this video, maybe you want to support me over on patreon.com/616entertainment. Every new sign up brings us one step closer to the next in-depth retrospective, and the next one on the list right now is Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Give it some thought. But that's enough plugging at the top. Let's get into the game. I want to do something a little different this time on Triangle X Squared Circle. Rather than kicking things off with the development and behind the scenes info, I actually want to dive directly into the gameplay first. And I want to do that because, well, WWE Legends of WrestleMania doesn't play like any other wrestling game you've ever experienced. I have absolutely no idea what the hell they were trying to do here or who it was that signed off on this game's design, but holy God, does this one take a ton of getting used to. You'll notice immediately that this game is centered around what they like to call chains. We can translate chains into what they really are, QuickTime events. Every single major occurrence in your match will take the control completely out of your hands and present you with what is sometimes a 30-second long string of animations. Tapping a lone button when we're told to tap it can take us from a punch to a spine buster all the way through the people's elbow.
It doesn't take long for the pendulum. We could be looking at a pinfall here, folks.
2! Was that 3? No? Come on!
How about a diving clothesline to an uppercut and directly into a tombstone pile driver? If you're watching closely, and you can't miss it if you're the one with the controller in your hand because it feels completely disjointed, maybe you notice that after the clothesline, we're both down. And without a single frame of in-between setup, the uppercut has us both standing straight up in the middle of the ring as if that clothesline never took place. This is a common occurrence with Legends of WrestleMania. I jumped into this episode having never played this game before, so I really needed the tutorials to guide me. I could not believe how overcomplicated these instructions were. Look at this. Are you insane? Have you ever seen this many multi-step lessons in a wrestling game? It took several full matches to get a grasp on what these controls expected of me, and even then, the entire layout felt completely foreign. I have no clue what the mission was with this entire project. In previews, developer Ukes bragged about the simplified control scheme, lauding the chains and the fact that every action we're required to pull off are tied strictly to the 4 face buttons, but it really doesn't feel simplified at all. As a matter of fact, it feels like stacking so many actions on top of just 4 buttons leads to an endless string of, oh, that's not what I meant to do.
Saw battle thus far. Oh, what's going to happen here? The crowd letting Bullcock know how they feel. From head to toe, Animal's an intimidating guy.
I would imagine the pick up and play approach to this new video game was put in place to try and capture the casual wrestling fan. You know, those fans who watch the show and maybe they own an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, but they don't play all that often. SmackDown vs. Raw is too complicated, but this? Just 4 buttons? I can play this. But you do have to wonder, if they were looking to capture casual fans who own modern consoles, why was the entire basis built around the stars of 20 and 30 years ago, with a logo on the box that these fans don't even recognize? I know there are fans of this game out in the ether. Longtime Dan Mike Masters, co-host of the Something Awesome podcast, how you doing, joked that I should go easy on this game, as he has a soft spot for it. I'll tell you what, Mike Masters, after playing 30 to 45 minutes, I was genuinely wondering if this was the worst WWE game ever made. Not the worst wrestling game ever made, God no, but possibly the worst controlling WWE game ever made. Now, it didn't take long for me to remember that I just recently covered WrestleMania 21 on this series, and I mean, good lord, that one still takes the cake. It's a rotten cake, to be sure, but it's a cake all to itself. I passed some more time with the game though, and I don't want to say I started to find my footing. I don't want to say I started to see Legends of Wrestling's merit. I honestly think I was just getting used to its rough, bowling shoe ugly groove. And when I say bowling shoe ugly, I'm not talking about the graphics. Actually, that's a perfect segue, so let's take things in a positive direction. Legends of WrestleMania looks way better than it plays. Dan's, this game is pretty. My goodness. The lighting effects are nice. Check out the fog on Undertaker's entrance. I mean, I don't know why the ring is textured like carpet in some asswipe's bedroom, but I mean, whatever. We're trying to stay positive here. Oh, the belts. My goodness, do the championship belts look great in this game. They shine in the light. The physics when the champ swings it around after a huge win. As a belt mark, I got a smile on my face. Not sure why the belt will instantly morph between the Winged Eagle and whichever title you were actually gunning for in a ladder match, though. Ugh. Staying positive, I got it. Let's take a look at the match types. This game is centered around legendary wrestlers from the past, right? From the 70s all the way up to the 90s. Some of them even worked into the 2000s. They didn't really have gimmick matches through the 70s and 80s. I mean, not to the degree that we see here in Legends of WrestleMania. If I'm looking at Andre the Giant and classic Hulk Hogan with the block logo on the box art, I'm not expecting to see Hell in a Cell. But it's here. It's actually pretty damn cool here, too. Each cell match kicks off with one wrestler challenging the other to start things up on top of the demonic structure. A page pulled straight out of the book of Undertaker and Mankind. And speaking of Taker and Foley, check this out.
Dan! Man, that was close. That was so close. Oh my God! How the hell do you learn to fall fall from a 30-foot cell.
I've actually never seen the toss off the top of the cell look better in any other game. And I mean that. One more little tidbit, and I'm gonna super Hell in a Cell nerd on you here. Despite the panels looking like the 2006 updated Cage, this cell is actually a nearly perfect recreation of the 1997 original structure, scale-wise. I know, I'm insane, but I love the detail. The aforementioned ladder match makes an appearance, and it sucks. We can't exit the ring for some reason, and the ladder is barely a factor outside of needing to climb it. There's a mini-game for taking the belt down, but I've never needed it even once. I get to the top and the belt is just mine. I don't know. I like that the ladder is a bright color, as that's how they used to be. And it's funny how the ladder match winner gets the belt, climbs down, and then immediately climbs back up. It's so silly. The Royal Rumble is here as well, and holy Jesus Christ, look at this. Do you think there's enough shit on the screen? Each character's HUD is so huge that more often than not, everyone's fighting underneath a health bar. The game will take control away from the camera without any notice, which is always fantastic. I love when I don't even get to choose what I'm looking at. Unreal. So this is where I'll touch on some of the game's development aspects. Look, I thought it was important to cover the gameplay first. Sue me. Everybody knows that Yuke's developed the SmackDown games. They kicked the franchise off in early 2000 and continued working with WWE all the way until the release of 2K19. But with SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 and 2010 sandwiching the release of Legends of WrestleMania, this game must have been made by somebody else, right? Wrong. Yuke's also developed Legends of WrestleMania. And okay, maybe that's not that crazy. We see things like this from time to time. The FIFA and NHL arm of EA Sports also create the UFC game, so it's not like this is the only time this ever happened. It must have just been a different group of people under the Yuke's umbrella that created Legends of WrestleMania, right? Wrong again. A man by the name of Taku Chihaya acted as senior director on SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, Legends of WrestleMania, and SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 inside of one calendar year. Dude, Taku Chihaya is an Iron Man. Goodness me. That was a lot of talk about SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, wasn't it? You want to know one of the craziest pieces of the Legends of WrestleMania puzzle? If you've got an SVR09 save file on your console, you can import the entire modern roster into Legends of WrestleMania. This is insane to me. Now joining Andre the Giant and Rick Rude are Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Randy Orton, and more. Now I said the entire roster, but there are a few guys missing, but who cares? This is incredible. I don't think there's another wrestling game in existence that tells you, hey, you know that other game? Do you want to play as all of those guys in this game? Okay, that's cool. Bring them over. Does this make the game better? I mean, no. There are more wrestlers now, but the quick time events, chains, still seem to be triggered at random. The faces on the select screen are still atrocious. Look at Bret Hart. Who the hell is that supposed to be? This game was way ahead of Mattel in the department of, we can't possibly manage a proper Hitman likeness. Seriously, why can't Mattel manage to create one figure that looks anything like the excellence of execution? The main attraction is WrestleMania Tour mode, where we've got 3 distinct paths: Relive, Rewrite, and Redefine. Relive tasks us with playing out a classic match exactly the way it went in real life. Rewrite once again has us playing back history, only this time, we gotta make sure the other guy wins. Redefine is where it all gets crazy. All of these matches come with live action footage of the angle at hand. In this case, it's Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd in their infamous Body Slam challenge. But Redefine says forget a Body Slam challenge. Let's lock these 2 big behemoths inside Hell in a Cell.
He reversed it.
Look at the strength.
Oh my gosh! No one could survive a fall like that!
tray and stud. Nearly half a ton of flesh and bone have inflicted big-time punishment on each other.
Andre said that if he loses, he'll retire. But after entering this Hell in a Cell, win or lose, there's a chance that both men's careers could be over.
And when you're over 500 pounds like Andre, it takes something special to knock you down.
The live action footage is so cool, and each match comes with a list of objectives to knock off, making WrestleMania Tour Mode easily the most interesting feature the game has to offer. Legend Killer Mode requires us to create our own wrestler, legend. God damn, everything has to be so regimented with WWE that legend is a proper noun in place of wrestler or even superstar in this game. We create our guy and head through an arcade ladder of legends. It's just a list of matches. The entire point is to win and upgrade our legend, but I can't say I have any interest in doing this. I've had enough QuickTime events for one day. There is a very specific game that Legends of WrestleMania reminds me of. Despite not selling as well as a WWE game or not being as fondly remembered, it's actually the subject of one of the most popular episodes of this show that I've ever done. The game in question is Showdown, Legends of Wrestling. Showdown was the third and final entry in the Legends of Wrestling franchise. It released in 2004, and it's easily the best of that trilogy. Like today's game, it was centered mostly around stars of the past, though it featured ladder matches, table matches, and other features that seemed out of place when held up next to the subject matter. This might be crazy to some of you, but I would take Showdown over Legends of WrestleMania. Showdown is buggy as hell. The controls are absolutely nothing to write home about.
Let's just fight right next to it. Oh God, no! What? Oh. You. Okay, this game's fucking broken. I told you.
Sometimes the buttons simply don't do what they're supposed to do, but this game is oozing with charm. Legends of WrestleMania, at the end of the day, feels like Legends of Wrestling 4, or Showdown Legends of Wrestling 2. I don't know, call it whatever you want. And unfortunately, that's not a compliment. The gameplay is sluggish, it's frustrating, it's boring. Even the cool aspects, like seeing Andre the Giant on top of the cell, can be recreated in other better games. So, what the hell's the attraction? Hey, I can import Jeff Hardy out of SVR 09 and into a game that's not as good. Oh, I guess that's actually what this is. Upon release, WWE Legends of WrestleMania pulled in review scores that were alright. I don't do review scores. I find them to be reductive and stupid. But I do agree that this game probably falls somewhere in the, it's okay section of the scale. As far as sales are concerned, publisher THQ actually highlighted Legends of WrestleMania as a successful brand extension. In the very same report where they announced a loss of $431 million on the fiscal year. After a few more successful WWE games and a highly acclaimed trilogy of UFC titles, THQ would wind up going out of business in 2013. WWE Legends of WrestleMania would never receive a sequel, making this successful brand extension a one and done. At the top of this video, I said we would determine whether this game would be inducted into the Hall of Fame or tossed into a dumpster like Cactus Jack. And I'm the one writing this script, so I'm in charge. And I'm deciding that it doesn't have to just be one or the other. Honestly, this game carries a value of about $10 today. If you're a big wrestling fan and you've never experienced this game before, yeah, it's worth $10. You're not going to spend dozens of hours on this one or discover your new favorite wrestling game here, but $10? Why not? WWE Legends of WrestleMania. Relive, rewrite, redefine, then return to whatever you were playing before. Oh, that's my Triangle X Squared Circle retrospective on WWE Legends of WrestleMania. Now, if you're a big fan of this game and you're disappointed in my opinions of it, oh well, You know, I'm glad you like the game. Keep on liking the game. I'm not trying to change your mind. It's okay if we disagree. Next time out, I'm going to knock one off the list that has been highly requested for a long, long time. We're going to look at WWF Attitude. If you enjoyed this video, maybe you want to sign up over on patreon.com/616entertainment. I write these videos, I shoot them, I edit them, I record all the gameplay myself. It's a one-man production, okay? And it's a lot of work, and I could really use you in my corner if I'm going to keep these lights on. These extremely bright lights that are kind of blinding. Dan, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. I love ya, and I'll see you next time.